Hello, and welcome to this educational presentation where today I want to talk to you about powerful pullback trading. Now, a lot of traders trade with a pullback style, myself included. I like to trade pullbacks, but there are still a lot of traders who are not aware of what a pullback is. So let me just give you a brief explanation through this short definition. In an overall uptrend, a pullback is either a large, moderate, or shallow sell-off. That's all it is. So if we look at this older chart here, we see that we're basically in an overall uptrend, an AMAT. Okay, we're making higher highs, higher lows. And pullback traders like to buy at these lower levels before it resumes its upward trend. Now, the same can be true in an overall downtrend, because in an overall downtrend, a pullback is simply a large, moderate, or shallow rally. So we see here in this older chart of OKTA, obviously we're in an overall downtrend. And so as a trader, a pullback trader, you like to sell on these little bounces. So you're looking for these little rallies, these short little bounces to sell on at higher prices before it resumes its overall downtrend. Now, the trouble is getting a strategy or being able to trade a strategy that is consistent enough to trade these pullbacks, either to the downside or to the upside. So a lot of students, potential students, ask me, Steve, is there a strategy specifically designed to identify these high probability pullback setups? And I'm happy to say, yes, there is. And we're going to talk about that today because this strategy is exclusively on our platform, the PTS Primo Charting Platform, that actually identifies these pullback setups. So welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo, president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading now for 47 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of them I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. A specialist is just simply someone who made markets in roughly about 60 stocks or so. So I made markets during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. So in my 47 years of trading, I know what works in terms of consistency and I know what doesn't. So that's why I formed Specialist Trading. I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies with one goal in mind, and that was simply to educate traders. All the things that I've learned in my 47 years plus that have high levels of consistency. And you'll see that in today's educational presentation. Now, before we begin, as always, we are required to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results by applying this pullback method, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also, since we are an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, another way to get education on a daily basis is to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. If you may want to copy that down, because every day I post different information, setups our signals have generated, little bits of information about the workings behind our methods, and also bits of financial wisdom. So either if you want to call it Twitter or X, please feel free to follow us because I post on a daily basis. Now, remember, we are first and foremost an educational company. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we're not going to force feed you signals. We're not going to tell you what to buy or what to sell. We're never going to tell you what we think the market's going to do. That is for you to decide. You see, a good mentor, a good educator does not trade for you. He teaches you how to trade. So that's my goal, simply to teach you how to trade with the Specialist Edge. This is the same way I was taught and what has sustained me now going over 4 decades, and hopefully it will be able to do the same for you. Now, a few announcements before we begin. This is being recorded, so each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues. Also, if you have any questions, please wait till the end to ask questions. I promise I'll get to each and every one of them, but I like to take the questions at the end, okay? With that stated, let's begin today's educational presentation. All right, now I'd like to just go into a little bit of information about pullback entries, because there is a 3-stage process that happens when you trade pullbacks, and I'd like to go over what that process basically is. Now, stage 1 is the beginning of a trend. You have, according to the requirements, a full-fledged trend in place. Now, stage 2 is where everyone gets into trouble, because they think that it's the end of that trend and now we're going to be starting in the opposite direction. And it very may well be. But if the requirements are met, if you see that all the rules that we teach you in the course have been met, this is not actually the beginning of a new downtrend. This is actually a pullback. And this is where you look to buy. You have certain rules, certain requirements that must be met that will signal a buy or sell setup. And once that happens, if it is a correct setup, it'll be the resumption of trend in stage number 3, and that's where you'll be able to profit. So pullback traders don't mind waiting for this stage 2 and for these high probability setups at lower prices before the trend resumes to the upside. So that's the basic premise behind a pullback entry. Once again, traders ask, is there a strategy specifically designed to identify these high probability pullback entries? And yes, there is. That is specifically strategy number 9. This is our premier pullback method. Let me give you some of the highlights of strategy number 9. It's a buy low, sell high pullback strategy. We're buying low in an overall uptrend, and we're selling at higher levels in an overall downtrend. Now, it does this by applying proprietary indicators. It's an indicator-based method. The good news is you can apply strategy number 9 to virtually any market, any time frame, and any direction. Now, this makes it ideal for option trading because, many times the premiums are very expensive if you're buying if something is broken out. But with option trading and applied to a pullback strategy, you're going to be buying at these lower levels or selling at these higher levels, and the premiums will be much less. As with all of our methods, we require our students to learn the strategy to paper trade first because our edge is consistency. We know that not every trade will work out, but consistency is a 2 steps forward, 1 step back process. The 1 step back meaning that you will have losses from time to time, but that's okay. Over the long run, you'll see this nice upward steady slope in the winning and consistent trades. Okay, some more highlights about strategy number 9. It employs 2 simple indicators. Now, their relationship to the price is what automatically produces these signals. Now, we will teach you all of this in the course because in an overall uptrend, buy signals will be generated during a decline. And in an overall downtrend, sell signals will be generated during a rally. So all of this, once again, is taught. This is not a black box system where you have no idea what it's based off of. We teach you what exactly to look for and how to identify these setups. But along the way, we also give you a great learning tool in the form of our platform. So let me show you how that process would be trading strategy number 9. Okay, once again, looking back at that older chart of AMAT, obviously we're in an overall uptrend. So how could we buy at these lower levels? Remember, once again, a pullback trader likes to buy at these lower levels. So how could we do that using our platform? Well, once again, simply go up to our green strategy tab here, look for strategy number 9, click it on, and in the drop-down menu, click on signal arrows. Now remember, we will teach you how to identify a signal. This is not a black box system, but in order to check your work to know if you're properly identifying them, I'm sorry, I apologize, I can't be sitting next to you or on the phone with you 24/7. So the next best thing is to use our platform to teach you if you're properly identifying them. Click on signal arrow and it will validate your setup. And yes, you properly identified these areas as buy scenarios. And you could have taken advantage of each one of them. Same thing works with this older chart of OKTA. Let's say, okay, you've decided we've been in an overall downtrend using our parameters, and you think you see some sell signals here. In order to check your work, other than waiting to email me every day, you could simply click on strategy number 9 here to verify that these are the areas you think are sell signals. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrows. And yes, you are correct. You're properly identifying pullback sell signals. That's how simple the process is. But remember, we are teaching you once again how to be in charge of your own trading destiny. So let's look at some current strategy number 9 pullback examples. These are actual trades that many of our students took. And if you were a student of ours in the last month, you could have seen many of these setups. In fact, many of these setups occurred in the last couple of weeks. And as we said, as before, everything is being displayed coming from our platform, the PTS Primo Charting Platform. I developed this with Pro Trader Strategies to identify these pullback strategy setups. Okay, let's look at this chart here in ZS. Obviously, someone could say, well, yeah, we're in an uptrend right here, so I want to be a buyer. But then look what happens. Right after that, it goes downward. So now you say to yourself, okay, well, I went to that chat room, and now we're in a downtrend, so I think I should be selling. Because look at every time it bounced, it came lower. It bounced, it came lower. So this is obviously a pullback downtrend, right? Well, not necessarily, because according to the rules we taught you in the course, this is simply a pullback. We're still in an overall uptrend. So what you're looking for is some type of buy area right here, some buy setups. According to what we teach you, you think you probably have identified one. So you say to yourself, I'm going to check my work. You click on strategy number 9, click on signal arrows. And yes, you're correct. There is a buy signal right there at the low of this sell-off. Now you think to yourself, once again, this is not a pullback to the downside. This is a pullback to the upside. So you buy, and here's a sell technique that we teach our students. I'll go over, we'll use this for the remainder of the presentation today. One of the simplest ways to exit a pullback trade is that it likes to go back and test this previous high. So what you want to do is go back to the last short-term previous high, if you're buying, and say to yourself, we will sell if we close above there. Okay, so you would have bought here, and in 2 days we closed above, and you made a quick 15 points in just 2 days. All right, not a bad little trade. Now we know a lot of students will say, well, Steve, yeah, but what if it goes higher like it did here? It continues to go up. Well, we have a number of different ways to exit, but this is one of the, I would say, one of the most consistent ways, because oftentimes what will happen is you will exit, and sure, it may continue going up another couple of days, but look what happens after that. So if you're not quick enough, you'll give back your entire profit. Here's another example. Okay, we're looking at AMAT, a more recent chart, and this is going much higher. You say to yourself, well, we have a nice uptrend line here, and we've broken that. Okay, so now we're obviously in some type of a downtrend because we've broken the strong uptrend. But remember, we teach you what to look for, and according to our rules of strategy number 9, the overall trend is still up. So therefore, this is not a downtrend. This is simply a pullback, meaning that this is a high probability area to buy. So you think, according to what we teach you, that there is a buy setup here, maybe more than one, but you just want to check your work. Click on strategy number 9, click on signal arrow, and guess what? There is a buy setup right at the low of that sell-off. So where everyone else thinks we're in a downtrend, you decide to buy, and you find out where the last most recent high was. All right. So you say to yourself, well, I will sell once we close above there. You have no idea where it's going to close above. If it's going to be 1 tick, if it's going to be 10 points, we don't know. So this is kind of an open area to sell. But in less than 2 weeks, you could have exited with a nice 21-point gain simply by using this simple exiting technique. All right, let's look at another example here in SAM. All right, this is a weekly chart because you can apply this to any time frame. Now, looking at this weekly chart of SAM, this is the Boston Beer Company, you'd say to yourself, wow, this is extremely bullish. This is a reversal pattern. This is a morning star candlestick pattern, extremely bullish, points to the bottom of a market. So for all you candlestick traders out there, you would have said, this is a great investment. I'm going to buy this right around here. And for the next 3 weeks, it actually looks pretty good. It's starting to go up. You say to yourself, well, yeah, we started an uptrend now, so I'm very happy about my investment. But according to what we taught you, is this really an uptrend? Actually, it's a pullback. This is a selling opportunity, not a buying opportunity. So you check your work once again, click on strategy 9, click on signal arrow, and we have 2 setups right here to go short. So why would you have bought if the market is telling you it wants to go lower? So what you want to do is find your most recent low, which is right here. If you're using this exiting technique, let's say you bought the puts or some type of spread strategy with a downward bias, and you wait for it to close down here. Well, in the next month, it did close there, and you would have exited with a nice 35-point gain. Now, what happened to that morning star pattern where we're supposed to go up, right? Remember, there's not a lot of consistency when you're trading out of sync or traditional worn out ways of trading. You want to really listen to what the market's telling you, and one of the best ways is by applying a pullback technique. So this is our premier pullback strategy, and you see you would have made a nice 35 points in just about 4 weeks, and look what happened after that. Remember, that's why we say it is extremely important to use this technique, because many times price will go the opposite direction. All right, we have a buy signal here in PANW, all right? We're looking for the most recent high, which is right here. All right, if price closes above it, that's where going to be our exit. Could be the next day, it could be 2 weeks from now, we don't know. But in about 4 days, it closed above and we made a nice 25 points. Now look what happened after that. It continued to go higher. Now, remember, there's no guarantee that you're going to be selling at the exact opposite area of the spectrum, but oftentimes you will sell and it will go up for a day or two higher, maybe even a week or two higher. But look what happened after that. Had you held on, you would have most likely given away all your profit and turned this into a large loss. So that's why we always tell our students this is a great way to begin using this exiting technique. Here's another example in KLAC. Two buy signals were generated right at the low of that little sell-off, that pullback. We're waiting for it to close above here. Once it did, we exited with a nice 65-point gain. This was just in about a month or so. You could have made a nice 65 points. That's about 10% price gain. All right, another sell-off in INTU, okay? Look what happened after that. In just a week, you could have made a quick 25 points, all right? So now we're out of the trade, and the price sells off, and we have another buy setup on this pullback. So you get back in, you want to find the most recent high, and in 2 days, you sell with a 26-point gain. But look what happens again, another sell-off, and at the low of that sell-off, you have another buy. So you find the most recent high, which is right here. And once again, in about 4 days, you have a 31-point profit. So in roughly about a month, this was all just past month of February, if you were just trading INTU, you could have potentially captured over 80 points using this simple technique with strategy number 9. All right, here we have an obvious uptrend in CHTR, right? Obviously, someone just looking at them say, well, Steve, we're making higher highs, higher lows. This is an uptrend, right? Well, not according to the rules we taught you in the strategy number 9 course. This is a downtrend. And look at the sell signals that were generated, all right? This is just a bounce in an overall downtrend. So here's the most recent low. And you could have exited in roughly about a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks, with a 60-point gain. As we look at NVIDIA, all right, the stock has been in the news. It's been taking off like crazy. If you wanted to use this short-term exiting technique, you could have used it on the 21st of February. There was a buy signal right there at the low of this sell-off. In 1 day, you could have captured 110 points. Now, obviously, the stock has gone up much higher in the remaining 2 weeks. But remember, this just shows you how simple this process is. And let's look at an hourly chart in Tesla. Okay, we look at this hourly chart in Tesla, we see that the same process applies. Even though it looks like we're in a downtrend, this is simply a pullback in an overall uptrend on an hourly chart. A buy signal was generated right near those lows. This was on the 28th of February, or close to the 28th of February. And in 1 day, basically 2 hours, you could have potentially captured 5 points by having it close on an hourly basis above the most recent high. Now look what happened after that. Started to go lower again. That's why this is a really consistent method for exiting using strategy number 9. All right, let's apply this to an entirely different market. Here's a daily chart of the Swiss franc, all right? We have a sell-off, and then it appears as if we have a nice uptrend beginning, but this is just a bounce in an overall downtrend. So strategy number 9 generated a sell signal right here towards the highs. We find the most recent short-term low, and look what happened. In less than 2 weeks, you could have captured 170 pips by using this technique. We can also apply this to a weekly chart of Netflix, all right? Let's go through the stages once again. Stage 1, the initial trend is established. It's an uptrend. Stage 2, this is where most traders think a new downtrend has begun. Look, we have a big reversal here, bearish engulfing pattern, lots of lower lows, lower highs, but really, this is just stage 2. It's a pullback. This is a buying opportunity, all right? So we think that we want to buy somewhere around these levels right here, anywhere around these lower levels. Click on strategy number 9, click on signal arrow, and yes, we have 2 buy setups right here, okay, towards the lows. So we're waiting for stage 3 to begin, and look what happens. We first want to set up and see where we'll sell, and now stage 3 begins, and in less than 2 weeks, we could have captured 110 points. This is how simple this process is when you use strategy number 9. Okay, let's review what we taught you today. A pullback is either a large, moderate, or shallow sell-off, but in an overall uptrend. Or a pullback is a large, moderate, or shallow rally or bounce, but in an overall downtrend. So we want to take advantage of these pullbacks by applying strategy number 9, our proprietary indicator-based method that you can apply to any market, any time frame, and any direction. As you saw right now, we were buying towards the lows on these setups and selling towards the highs. So this makes it ideal for option trading because you'll be able to purchase options with low premiums. With all of our strategies, it is a requirement that you first paper trade so you can fully understand the process. Remember, all of our methods are extremely consistent. The consistency means that there will be losses from time to time. That's okay. Remember, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's what makes a consistent trader. So ask yourself, after seeing these examples that just happened within the last month or 2 weeks, do you think strategy number 9 can help your trading for the remainder of 2024? After seeing these examples, I think your answer is a resounding yes. So let me tell you about a great offer we have for all of you attending today. This is our powerful pullback trading special. You'll get our detailed video course instruction of strategy number 9. You'll learn all the different ways to enter, all the different ways to exit. I just shared with you just one of them today, and all the different ways to place your stop. All right, you'll get the entire course rules, includes the strategy add-ons if you'd like to apply them to other platforms. And this also can be applied, remember, to any market or any time frame. Now, everything you saw today was on our platform, okay? Everything you saw today was included by our platform. But remember, in order to get these signals, in order to scan for these signals on a nightly basis, here's what you need. You need the PTS Primo Charting Platform. So here's the extra bonus we're going to throw in with this offer. We're going to throw in a full year free. That's a 35% discount. You're going to save over $1,700 if you decide to become a student of the strategy number 9 course. That's a full year free. Not only will you get strategy number 9, but a host of other tools and techniques that I've accumulated in my nearly 5 decades of trading, things that I've accumulated from the trading floor, like our enhanced buy sell line, which automatically tells you 4 different ways the overall trend. You'll get our strength of trend tool, which tells you when a trend is running out of steam or it still has more gas in the tank. Auto-generated exit levels. This is an entirely different exit technique that you'll have on the platform only. Okay, but here's the best thing I think. Along with the 90 other technical indicators and personalized tech support, you're going to get our scanner. Let's imagine that you were a student of mine just a couple of weeks ago and you scanned and you saw that on the 21st, which is just a couple of weeks ago, BHVN generated a buy signal using strategy number 9. Okay, so let's just say you would have used this and you used this technique and said, okay, here's the most recent short-term high. I'll sell when price goes above that. And guess what? In less than 2 weeks, you could have made a quick 10 points. And that's basically about a 20% price gain. But if you're going for more bang for your buck, well, what about MSTR? You could have scanned for this. Once again, you can scan for all the stocks, different markets. You can scan for ETFs. You can scan for commodities, you can scan for currency pairs, even crypto. But let's say we're scanning for stocks. MSTR generated a buy signal on the 21st. Okay, well, using that technique I shared with you today, here's the most recent high. So you say to yourself, well, I'll exit once it closes above there. And in just 4 days, you could have potentially captured over 200 points. Potentially, this just happened 2 weeks ago. So this is just sharing with you. I know you go to a lot of webinars, you see a lot of techniques and they're fantastic results. And then you look at when these signals happened, and some of them were 6 months ago, maybe even a year or so ago. Well, this just happened. These 2 examples just happened in the last 2 weeks. So these setups are happening over and over again. That's how consistent strategy number 9 is. A year from today, you will have wished you became a member of the strategy number 9 course. Take advantage of this great offer I'm going to present to you right now. Okay, let's break it down. Our next level pullbacks trading special. And normally, if you were just buying strategy number 9 without this limited offer, it would cost you over $4,700. All right. Here's the offer we have for today. We're not going to charge you $4,735. We're going to drop it down to $29.95. You're going to save $17.40. Now, if that still is a little bit too high for you to come up with in one lump sum, don't worry. There are payment plans available. So for a fraction of the price of $29.95, you can still be on board. All you have to do is come down with a small fraction of that price, put a deposit down, and establish a payment plan with Pro Trader Strategies, my sister site, and you'll be up and running as early as today. That's how simple it is through this process. Okay, so you can either pay in full $29.95, that's a 35% discount, saving over $1,700, or you can contact Pro Trader Strategies and set up a payment plan for just a fraction of $29.95, put a one-time deposit, and then you can have a monthly fee going on, and you can still be up and running, okay? All right, here's how to take advantage of this great offer. As I said, my sister site is Pro Trader Strategies. They're in charge of all the discounts, all the pricing. I would highly recommend giving them a call at area code 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now. They would be more than happy to take your order over the phone or simply answer any question that you may have concerning pricing or how to establish a payment plan. And if you see that link at the very bottom, that's the link that will take you to the info page. Or if you'd like to sign up online, you can go through that link as well. Okay, but that's not a live link. All you have to do is simply copy and paste that onto your browser. But a simpler way is simply to go to the chat box right now on your Zoom interface. Just click on that little chat icon, and you'll see that they've posted a live link. Okay. Now, I promised I would answer any question that you have. Here we are at the very end of the presentation. I see we have a few questions. Someone is asking, can this work on other markets other than currency pairs? Yes, I personally trade the E-mini futures on an intraday basis, and I apply this to E-mini futures. So yes, you can apply it to any market, any time frame. We have people that are using this on crypto. We also have people using it, as we said, on currency pairs. I showed you a couple of currency pair examples. So it makes absolutely no difference what market or what time frame, because all strategy number 9 is doing is looking for a pullback. It doesn't know what the market is it's looking for. It's based on price and these proprietary indicators. They have no idea what the market is. They don't care. They're just looking to see if the requirements are met. And if they're met, regardless of what market, regardless of what time frame, strategy number 9 will generate a signal, okay? Someone's asking, how do we know if it is the beginning of a new trend or a pullback? Okay, this is probably the number one problem most traders have with pullback trading, because let's say you're in an uptrend and you start to see a counter trend, meaning that there's price going down to the downside, a sell-off. How do you know when to buy, or if it's a valid setup, or it's just the beginning of a lower downward move? That is a valid question, and that's what makes pullback trading strategies so difficult to be valid. Well, I'm happy to say that with our proprietary tools, we have really come up with a very extremely consistent and simple way for determining that. I'm sorry I can't really give away the rules now, because that's all taught in the course. But remember, it's based on 2 proprietary indicators that their relationship to the price is what generates the signals, okay? So it's their relationship to where price is at that moment that will generate either a buy or a sell signal. And it's extremely consistent, as you just saw in these examples. So I know that may be worrisome to some. I know a lot of times you'll buy it and it just keeps going lower and lower and lower, or you'll sell and it keeps going higher and higher and higher. Not to say that it's 100% guaranteed, but extremely consistent, as we said earlier. And you just saw once again in the examples we shared with you. Okay, if there are no further questions, this brings us to the end of the presentation. Once again, if you're at all interested, please contact Pro Trader Strategies. Give them a call at area code 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants manning the phones. They would be more than happy to take your order over the phone or answer any question. There's absolutely no obligation. If you call up, they're there to work with you. They're there to answer any question that you may have. But please, if you're serious about becoming a student of mine in the strategy number 9 course, take advantage of this really discounted offer, or else the price will go back to over $4,700 roughly in the next week or so, okay? As we conclude and take one last look at our disclaimer, I'd like to thank you so much for attending today. Remember, we were also being live streamed on YouTube, so many of these presentations are live streamed. You can watch us either on our Zoom presentation or through YouTube, and just click on and subscribe, and we'll have a lot more of these for you. Thank you so much for attending today. I wish you all the best of luck, but most especially, I look forward to having and becoming a student of mine in the strategy number 9 course. Thanks so much. See you in class. Bye-bye.